Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode here on Unscripted. I'm your host, Josh Mansour, and today's guest is one of the most talked about players in the game. At the young age of 18, he debuted in the NRL. He's also played on the international stage for Tonga, and that is Isaiya Katoa. How's it going, brother?
Thank you.
Thank you. How was the last couple of days in Sydney?
It's been good. No, it's been good. I've enjoyed it. It's bloody bit colder than Brizzy at the moment, but no,
Yeah.
it's been good being back here. It's bloody busy as usual,
Yep.
but I'm enjoying, I guess, being back here. Love staying in the city. The city's pretty cool. So it's nice.
How was the transition from Western Sydney to Redcliffe?
And actually, it wasn't that hard because it's very similar. Actually, I
Yep.
guess obviously I was right in Penrith and Glenmore Park, and then
Yeah.
so that wasn't as busy as what the rest of Sydney would be. But moving to Reddy, it's a little bit similar. Reddy's really quiet, like kind of tucked away, right in the corner of the north side of Queensland, north side of Brisbane. Sorry, but I've loved the balance of just having you know everything that you do with training, and then
Yeah.
obviously going away and getting home and just being real chill and relaxed and back at home.
I've got a small connection with you. Obviously, I play with your brother
Yeah,
Sione.
yeah.
How's he going? He's living up there as well,
He's
isn't he?
living up there as
He's
well,
he's
but
a barber now, huh?
he's a barber, so he's got his own barber shop. I'm not too sure how good he is at cutting hair, but
So you don't go to him, I'm gonna
I
assume.
definitely don't go to him. What's funny? The funniest thing is his kids don't even let him cut his hair. Like his kids go to the other barbers, which
That's a shocking plug for him.
which shows you how much of how good he is as a barber. But now he's on the south side, so he's about an hour away from me. So
Oh, wow.
even if it was close, I probably still wouldn't go to him. I'd go to a shop, but definitely not to him.
Hey, he said us on it, not me. I know you'll be watching, brother. And obviously, playing with him at Penrith, I feel like we've never actually crossed paths. Did we cross paths at all?
I don't. Oh, I don't know. Unless like maybe if it was at his house, I used to bloody host that many barbecues and
Yeah.
have the boys over. So I don't know if we probably ever crossed paths, but never. I would have been, mind you, I would have been like 10 to bloody
True.
13 back then.
You're making me feel old.
So
Do I get the sense that you boys are like chalk and cheese? Like you guys are complete opposites?
yeah, we're similar in some ways. But like I've seen some of his experiences. He's also someone that's I guess played a massive part in my career and telling me, I guess, what to do, specifically what not to do, just in and around footy, even stuff away from footy. He helps out. He helps me out with a lot of, I guess, life stuff,
Wow.
life advice. He's obviously running the business at the moment, so he's learning, but at the same time, he's teaching me as well. I guess what it takes to run a business, all of the things the networking that he's doing, the people that he's connecting with, the people that he's meeting. Like it's pretty awesome to hear.
All at such a young age as well. You're only 21, eh?
Yeah, 21 at the moment.
That is crazy, man.
Yeah, so
Has footy always been front of your mind? Like, have you always lived and breathed footy?
yeah. Well, I started playing footy when I was 5 or 6 years old. So, and I've played rugby league and rugby union, a little bit of Oztag, but mainly the two. And pretty much from when I was 10 years old, when I first started rugby league, to when I turned 18, I played rugby league and rugby union pretty much every single age group.
Wow.
I think the league was on the Saturday because they play league here on Saturdays, and then the rugby union was on the Sundays.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool that I got to experience, I guess, both codes.
I was going to ask you one thing. Felice Kafusi. I was going, do I bring it up now? Oh, I'm going to bring it up now.
Oh, bro.
So, Felice Kafusi, obviously a good friend of
Fussi's the
mine.
best.
Nico as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you know what? I want to get some stories out of him. I just sort of, kind of suss around.
Yeah.
And you don't drink, I hear, right?
I don't drink alcohol, no.
Did Fusso invite you to a long lunch knowing that you...
Oh, bro, he got me good. He absolutely got me good.
Tell me what happened.
This was at the World Cup, and mind you, I was still in school that year. I just graduated, but I still needed to sit my HSC, and I had to get this whole approval about, just being a part of the World Cup team.
Yeah.
I wasn't like the time that we went to the World Cup was at the same time that HSC was getting sat here in Sydney at school, and I had to get like special privileges to go over there. They had to like cross check it with New South Wales Education, My school had to be all over it. And then the management for the Tongan team had to be over it, plus the management at the hotel, because obviously the management of Tonga, they were sorting out with my school on, when I had to sit it to pretty much match the timing to when the kid, like my friends and stuff that were sitting it back here at school were.
Wow.
So I was sitting it like sometimes in the morning during midday, just when we didn't have training on our days off. And I literally sat in like a little conference room, probably would have been about this size.
Yeah.
But I had to sit with one of the hotel staff because they only, because I didn't know the hotel staff, that was the easiest way that they could know that, like, the Tongan management staff weren't going to help me, or there wasn't going to be anything about cheating
Yeah.
happening in that thing. But they had only sent the test, the HSC test, the exams, to them maybe like 30 minutes before I started the exam. So like I was sitting
What?
in the room,
That is so weird.
and everything was exactly how I would have sat it back here at school. Like
Try to make it as normal as possible.
try and
for
make
them.
it as normal as
Yeah,
possible.
yeah. How'd you go?
Oh.
Well,
Let's say I done it.
Well,
I sat it over there.
like that's not an easy transition. You're juggling obviously your career, your dream, your passion, and also obviously having to sit down for your HSC.
Yeah.
Where you've done most of your life, go to school, right?
Yeah.
And how did you find that juggling both acts?
I actually enjoyed it. I felt like
Never overwhelmed?
because I felt like the schoolwork kind of gave me a bit of a distraction.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I kind of looked at it as like that kind of aspect. Like obviously when I was training, I was focusing purely on just training. But then when I finished training on our days off, it gave me a bit of time to just kind of forget about footy, put my mind on the schoolwork and actually focus on that. So I felt like I kind of got that balance right in terms of just, when I needed to switch on for footy, I did. But then when I got to switch off and focus on schoolwork, it kind of gave me a way to distract myself from footy, because I'm someone that just would constantly think about footy. Like
Yeah, I get that sense.
I'd be walking in the bloody, in the city or in the town, and I'm just thinking about bloody plays and like my own game. Like I just always think about footy. So it was a good distraction for me, just having that schoolwork and being able to sit my exams over there.
I actually admire that. My next question is, how do you deal with pressure?
I feel like I've put myself in scenarios where I challenge myself under pressure, whether it's at training, whether it's just mentally, like putting myself in that picture, trying to visualize it. But at the same time, I'm my own worst critic. So the outside pressure, that's something that doesn't really worry me as much. I had my dad who was, bro, did set the hardest critic on me.
Aren't
Like,
they all?
those games where you thought you'd done something well, like he'd always be the one to find something in my game. And I felt like that set me up, I guess, to not only be my own worst critic, but just, I guess, understand how to deal with a bit of pressure moments. But also like working with a bit of like sports psych. We had Phil at the time when Wayne was there. Something that I struggled with was like overcoming a mistake when I make it. I'm someone that would dwell on it because I never want to let my teammates down.
You want the perfect game?
I want the perfect game. I'm always looking to, what can I improve on? What can I do better? How can I execute things better? So having Phil as our sports psych, he kind of helped me, I guess, mentally just deal with those situations, especially in game. And one thing he said to me that kind of really stuck with me was, you have, like, obviously you got 80 minutes to play the game. You make the mistake in the 20th minute or the 30th minute, like you've only got 50 minutes to make up for that error and change it and show your teammates that you really care about them through your actions. And then you've got the whole week after that to go back at it, look at it, review it. What can you do better? In game is not the time to do that. And that's something for me that really helped me in terms of just, I guess, being able to just push that mistake aside, focus on what my next job is. And then obviously after the game, then you go back, have a look at it. What can you do better? What can you improve on? So I felt like that definitely helped in terms of the mental side of it.
I think it's awesome you get at that at such a young age as well, because that's something I wish I had in my playing career, especially when I was in my younger years. I feel like the mental side of the game has improved so much right now. And
100%.
I think right now, like me personally, whenever I used to do a mistake, like I'm like, I used to dwell on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get out of it, but that for maybe 5 minutes, I'm still thinking about it and I'm a bit annoyed,
Yeah.
frustrated that it happened. And yeah, I totally kind of
Yeah.
resent, like I can
100%.
understand where you're coming from with that. Can we tap in a bit, a little bit more in that, if you don't mind? Say you do a mistake. What tools do you do for yourself to get
Yeah.
out of that funk?
Obviously, when I make a mistake, we probably have the ball. So when I make the mistake, it's probably a turnover. So my first thing is to like get back into making a tackle,
Yeah,
like
next job mentality.
and next job, but like with a bit of intent, and bit of I guess intensity.
Yeah,
Whether it's like moving up off the line quickly, being right in front, making a good front on tackle. I feel like that kind of settles my nerves straight away. And then the next time I get the ball back, just having my ball or having my hands on the ball, being involved in the play. Like I completely understand that, as a halfback, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to have errors because I'm touching the ball, 2 to 3 times a set. So I'm aware that I'm going to make mistakes at time.
mm,
But at the same time, I need to understand that if I can make 9 out of 10 decisions right, yeah, I can deal with the one decision that I haven't, quite got right. But at the same time, just being on the ball, having my hands on the ball, talking, I think communicating is a big part. I feel like when I used to make mistakes, I used to go in my shell a little bit. I wasn't as vocal, I wasn't as dominant. Whereas now, the way I think about it, like I'm just, as soon as I make a mistake, I'm hungry to get my hands on the ball. I'm hungry to, get a carry, whether it's a show and go or whether it's, running through shape or putting someone through a hole. Like that's kind of how I try and get myself back into the game and brush that mistake off.
when I spoke about pressure, like right now, you're getting so much admiration from the greats of the game. Like I think 2 weeks ago we had Cody Walker on the show,
Yeah.
and he really admired the way you're playing at the
Yeah.
moment. We saw Nathan Cleary coming out, and you're his favorite player to
Yeah.
watch at the moment. How do you deal with that?
I feel like I've got to embrace it. You can't just completely ignore it. Like I'm going to see it whether I like to or not. Um, and it's awesome to hear it, especially from guys like Cody Walker, Nathan Cleary. Those guys are still in the game, and I play against them. So for them to say that, it's pretty cool. But then to hear it from Joey Johns, Mick Ennis, Greg Alexander, Cooper Cronk, those kind of commentators, like they've lived and breathed footy. They understand it. They all play in the spine. Um,
Hardest position to play.
yeah, and they've all been top players in their position. So for me, like it's one thing that I've got to embrace, but at the same time, I'm always looking at things that are done wrong in the game before I look at the things that are done well. And Wolfie's been a big part of that. I think the way he's just kept me really level headed in terms of, like I said, embracing those comments that I made, but at the same time looking at what I can improve on because there's so much that I can improve on in my game. And that's kind of my mindset when it comes to those things is I guess embracing it, but at the same time looking at what I can improve on, what I can work on, and also still doing the things that I'm doing well. Don't lose that. Still look at improving those too as well.
What I noticed, I think a couple of weeks ago you played the Sharks, right? And I
Yeah.
watched your post match interview, and I just admired the way you spoke, and you were very disappointed. Instead of like you took complete accountability on your
Mm.
own game. You obviously credited the Sharks for the way they played, but then like you directed their attention to yourself, and
Yeah.
you're like, I needed to be better here,
Yeah.
and like I could have done this better, and I just thought that was so mature for a guy
Yeah.
at your age, especially at 21 years old. Uh, have you always been an old head on young shoulders? I'm getting that sense.
I guess so. I feel like having my brother be in the NRL before me, he's, I guess, told me the ins and outs of, what the Nathan Clearys are doing. Like he played with Nath for a long time. What they're doing, what Jimmy Maloney was doing. Like he played Jimmy Maloney as well. Um, Guys like that obviously play in my position, but understanding how they function and what works for them,
What makes them tick?
what makes them tick. So I feel like, and one thing that he always said about Nathan was he was his own worst critic.
He was.
He was that hard on himself. He'd never blame anyone else, especially after a loss. It's easy to go sit there and point fingers and you didn't do this, you didn't make that defensive decision. Whenever we lose, I always look at my game and what I did wrong, and especially in that Sharks game, like you touch on it, obviously with the attention that I'm getting at the moment, and I guess the ways teams are defending and trying to, I guess
Disrupt your
combat,
game.
disrupt my game, like you said. I've got to be able to adapt quickly and adapt in game. I just felt like I didn't do that well enough in the Sharks game. There was one time I got, maybe I think it was twice. I got caught on last tackle with the ball, and just a bit of lack of communication with my outside guys.
Yeah.
So first thing I thought of was, all right, I'm not communicating enough. I'm not being as dominant. And then just, I guess, understanding the way that defending me and how I can create space for my outside guys, I felt like I just didn't do that well enough. And I think one thing, I guess, that I take away from that game was I kind of let myself get frustrated, and that started to play into my footy, and you could see it in my footy. And it was something that I made sure that when I went back to training the next week, one, I had a good look at what I needed to improve on, whether it was running game, passing game, in terms of timing, in terms of communication with my other spine members, with my teammates. It was something that I really, really looked hard at, and something when I spoke to Wolfie about it, he was like, "You got to understand that teams are going to start to defend you a little bit differently. They're going to start to rush you. They're going to start to throw different shapes at you, different looks in defense." It was like, you've got to be able to just adjust on game, adjust on the run, be able to be like, all right, sweet, that's a snapshot. If they're doing it once,
Yeah.
next time they come back, they're probably going to do it again. So just understanding how to deal with it, how to adjust to it.
It's not easy though.
No, it's
Because
not easy.
You come with a
It's not
structure.
easy
You came with
because
a game plan. You look at
exactly.
the looks of other teams, what they're presenting the week before.
Yeah,
You look for little cues, trends in other
yeah,
teams. But then on game day, they're not showing you those trends. They're not
yeah,
showing you those cues. So to kind of adjust and get everyone to adjust with you, because
yeah,
you're obviously the whole team is
yeah,
molded around you. It's
yeah.
not easy, right?
Exactly. Like you've spoken it just like perfectly just then. Like cues is what I'm looking for in attack, and the cues that I'd studied in the week before leading into that game were completely different cues that they come
Yeah.
out, and I guess defended like in that game. And one thing for me was I felt like I just wasn't seeing those cues good enough. But at the same time, even if you see those cues, you've got to be able to execute that. So not only do you see it,
Mm.
you've got to see it, then come up with a play, and then execute the play.
Yep.
But then even when you execute the play, you've got to rely on your teammates
Exactly.
to execute the next part of that play.
Not easy, man.
So it's not easy. Like there's a lot of things that just go into it. It's not just the pass, or it's little things like positioning of where your centers are, where your wingers are, back rowers, fullbacks.
I agree. Because I
Um,
think it's hard to. I know you're very critical on yourself, but I don't think the whole responsibility should be only on you.
yeah,
Like wingers need to communicate to
yeah,
you, obviously from outside in, and telling you what kind of looks the winger's
yeah,
giving. Is it tucked back? Is it detached off the line? Is
yeah,
it jamming hard? So I think it's just not your role.
yeah,
That's my point of view anyway. But I understand, like,
yeah. I can understand what you mean. Obviously, you've been a winger before, so and I can, you could see that you were always someone that communicated really well. And something that I've tried to drive within, especially our edges, like our centers and wingers, was because I don't see everything. Most of the time, I'm looking upfield
yeah,
at what
exactly.
like 4-ins, 3-ins are doing. I only see like centers and wingers out of like the corner of my
Mm,
eye. So I always encourage them to feed back to me what those guys are like, how they're defending, what they're looking like. Whether they're tight, whether they're wide,
mm,
whether they're a step back or a step ahead, whether they're jamming together or one's coming, one's not. I'm always encouraging our wingers and our centers to I guess have their eyes up and communicate back to me what they're
100%.
seeing,
100%.
because then I can be like, all right, then we can run this play to
Yeah.
try and adjust to it, or to try and attack it. So
Gives you confidence to execute it as well. When
yeah,
you're hearing that
exactly.
from your teammates, that's
Yeah,
all you need. You just mentioned something like, obviously we've heard about the saying, tell lies with your eyes,
yeah,
and obviously your body language is a big key to that as well. And going back to my playing days, like the greats coming up in the halves position was obviously Kronk. You've got Hooker, Cameron Smith,
yeah,
and even Billy Slater. I like to use those three as an example. And
yeah,
I always used to, obviously, because I'm looking infield to see what play and I'm scanning them to see what's happening in front of me. I always used to see the way, I'll never forget, man. Like they'll be side eyeing me and like
yeah,
sussing out what I'm doing.
yeah,
Like I could
exactly.
see them. I watched the grand final a couple of weeks ago, and the 2021 when we played Melbourne,
Yeah,
and I previewed whenever Smith gets, like, there's like obviously a little box in the middle third
yeah,
where Smith likes to have a little crack for a 40-20, or he likes to change the momentum of the game and try and get us back in the corner.
yeah.
And
Just kicking the
I could
corner.
just see him like just nonchalant, just approaching the ruck. and like he'll slowly just scan on the open
Yeah.
side, and then like he'll just side eye me to see if I was tucked back or up in the line, and just those little
Yeah.
things, how much of a difference they make. Like the difference from that to those halves where they'll kind of square up on me, look at me to see what I'm doing, and I'll be like, okay, I've got my. They're trying to see what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
Exactly.
Something's coming. So
Yeah.
I'm alert now. I'm
Yeah.
alerted
Got to be aware.
compared to the other guys where they, have a bit more of a subtle approach.
Yeah.
Um, you spoke about Nath as well. I know you got a huge admiration for him, and a couple of weeks ago you were in the Blues
Yeah.
camp. I would love to know what combos you guys had, because I feel like you two in a room
Yeah.
together talking footy. Wow, I'd love to be a part of that. What was that like? What was that
It
experience
was a
like?
pretty cool experience, bro. Like at first I was starstruck. That's someone I looked up to. Obviously being a Penrith
Really?
junior, like I looked up to him. He played with my brother. Um, all like his footy just talks for itself. But just the type of guy he is, the type of bloke he is off the field. That's something that really, I guess, resonates with me. Just how genuine he is. Um, Even little things like interacting with fans and making it important to them. That his presence there, you know, to give them confidence to be like, all right, I'm not just here to sign your, footy. I'm here to, or sign your jersey. I'm here to like have a bit of a conversation, even if it's, two sentences. Like little things like that, just understanding how he is as a person was awesome. But then, yeah, obviously when we had our footy talks, it was awesome to see. Like I sat in the spine meeting when we first got there, and it was just awesome to see how player driven it was. And not only just by Nathan, but you had Reece Robson in there talking about some of the things he's seeing markers do and A defenders do. Then you had Jerome talking about what his left edge is seeing, what he thinks is can really work for them. You had Dylan speaking about just their roles in terms of linking together, playing, what types of shapes.
Yeah.
But then a pretty cool conversation that I had with Nathan was it kind of took me back because he come to me and asked me the question. He come to me and asked me like, he goes, on when you're running like a 7 block, obviously you got back rower leading inside half.
Yep.
You got fullback at the back with center and wing, kind of in a bit of a slingshot shape, fanning out with the fullback. He goes, when you run your 7 block, are you pre-calling the tunnel ball? And I think the week before I went into camp, we played Souths, and I threw a tunnel ball to Herbie.
Is that because they're hard up and in?
And what I said to him was, I go back to the start of the year when we played the Broncos, and the whole week I'd previewed for their centers to be heavy jammers, and I go to our 2 centers like, I'm going to throw you a tunnel ball, and I was kind of preempting it, kind of just like I guess wishing for it to happen or hoping that it would happen. And what I noticed was when I threw the tunnel, I was kind of throwing it just for the sake of throwing it, and I wasn't reading any cues. And the one thing that I was, wanting to do on the tunnel was when the center jams, that's my cue to throw the tunnel.
Yeah.
And he didn't jam. So I told, that's when I said to Nate, like, when I started pre-calling it at the start of the year, it was never ever worked for us. The center would just get off, he'd defend it easily, would end up getting a bit of a negative play out of it. Whereas now, my cue is, like I said before, I'm looking upfield. If I see in the corner of your eyes jam the fullback,
that's your indicator.
That's my indicator to throw the tunnel. But like I said before about positioning, I told the centers if the fullback's in front of the center and I can't throw and I can't see the center, I won't throw it because the ball's going to go to the ground, and I don't know if that's going to be I don't know if the winger's going to pick that up and run down the field. I'll just hold it. But with the centers, I've told them to stand literally a step in front of the fullbacks, so I can see them. Because if I can see them, I'll throw them the pass, but also to be right off the hip of the fullback. So it's not an 8-meter pass. Instead, it's only like a 5-meter, 6-meter pass. Like I'm not having to throw like a long cutout ball. So little things like that. Like he come and asked me about it, and it was pretty cool to have that conversation. And then he was just talking about how Kalen Ponga defended in that second Origin game, and just how it kind of disrupted, the way they wanted to attack, because he kept putting himself as a genuine 8.
I saw
and
that.
not every fullback does that.
Yeah.
Some fullbacks would stand there, but then just fall out of the line, or some fullbacks will stand there and kind of ghost until their
Ghosts, yeah.
markers come. Whereas Kalen Ponga, like whenever he stood there, he was moving up with the line. He was being a genuine aid. Like he wasn't disregarding, anything or moving on to his next job. He was focusing purely as an aid defender. So we just spoke about like different plays that you could get away with it, or trying to attack it. One little play they spoke about was, Reece Robson just stepping out and giving one of the middles just a one-on-one with him to try and not try and score a try, but just to try and generate some ruck speed, a bit of a quick play of the ball. And then obviously because he's in the tackle, he's stuck at marker.
Yeah.
So that means that you're going to have a genuine split, but then you're also not going to have anybody at the back to defend a kick if you're looking to kick through shape. And then another way was we can move the ball early to the back rowers. Someone like Liam Martin or Angus Crichton, they're going to generate ruck speed. So giving them early ball, just letting them, I guess, kind of beeline for the halves and to try and generate ruck speed that way, and then looking to play like a 2-shot sequence and then play back to the open side.
You set up on the short side and then swing late?
Yeah, I think that shape, they had like Jerome Holding as a wide 4.
Yep.
And then they kind of had like an arrow duo shape. But they said like Nathan won't dig into the line because it's hard to play the shape. With that shape, you're looking for a 6 and 4 split. But because Kalen puts himself in the line, you get 7 and 4. So then everyone takes a step wider.
Sorry to cut you off. I find that strange because like the way Queensland defended, they were jamming hard up and in early too. But they had the numbers.
Yeah. I think it definitely throws off your attack.
Yeah.
Because 1, you can't play deep into the line.
Yeah.
And 2, when they put 7 in the line, you're not getting the right players on like running leads on the right mans.
Yeah,
I won't be able to ball play on when I get that split. I'm trying to look to ball play on 5 men, but because they all step a bit wider, 6 men's in front of me. So the only way I can get to them is by running sideways. And any attack, it becomes bloody ineffective if you start heading towards the sideline. Once you start heading towards the sideline, the defense just slide off and they defend it easily. So they were just thinking about like ways that they can try and attack that. And because it's something different, like Kalen Ponga doesn't defend like that at Clubland.
No.
So it was cool to listen into how they would defend that, because like fullbacks are going to see that worked well for Queensland, and that was really effective for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if defensive coaches are going to start to implement that with their fullbacks. So it was cool to see just the way they spoke about that.
I love that. You know what that interaction reminds me of? I will never forget. I love my basketball, NFL. I love my American sports, and I remember an interaction between Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, and like you guys, like in very similar like situations. You know, Michael Jordan's accomplished so much in his career, and then Kobe was the new kid on the block with huge aspirations. Talked about heaps like as a new next up and coming player. That's very similar in that aspect, like that little interaction, which I found so cool.
That bit of an interaction,
Do you know which I'm talking about?
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Like it's in mid-game. It's in the middle of a game too.
It's so cool to see it.
Anyway, let's talk a bit about you. So you've talk about eligibility.
Yeah.
You were just in New South Wales camp.
Yeah.
You got a Tongan father.
Yeah, Tongan father.
Cook Islands mother.
Yeah.
Born in New Zealand.
Yeah.
The big question now is who you got to play for. Who you gonna play for?
Who do I choose? Man, it's a question that even when I first started my career, I was always tossing up whether I wanted, because I literally can play for New Zealand, I can play for Australia, I can play for Tonga and Cook Islands, and I think the one thing that got my, I guess, decision over the line was seeing my brother play for Tonga, seeing what it meant to my parents, seeing what it meant to my grandparents, my family, and then seeing what it meant to the wider community, just to bring, I guess, that happiness, that joy back to our nation.
100%.
That's what got me over the line. And when I got the opportunity to go over there in 22, I think it was, the World Cup, with the team. Oh, sorry. At the start, there was a mid-year test that year, 2022, against Kiwis in New Zealand, and I got to be a part of that camp, just as like a youngin, getting the experience. And that was awesome. That was cool to be a part of. We obviously weren't successful in the
remember
game.
that game, actually. The whole stadium was red.
That's it. The whole stadium was red. And what made it better was, it was funny because we first sang our national anthem. And obviously all the Tongans are, the Red Sea are going crazy. They're singing it loud and proud. And then because they all live in New Zealand, they all know the New Zealand anthem too. So they all started singing the New Zealand anthem. So the Tongan anthem, and like the New Zealand anthem ended up being louder than the bloody Tongan anthem, because obviously you have the New Zealand supporters and the Tongan supporters. Like they all live in New Zealand. So that was a pretty cool experience, just to like listen to that on field. But just being involved in the camp that year, it really touched, I guess, my heart, and it was a feeling that I can't ever describe. Like when you feel it, you just know. And being a part of that camp, I just knew that, one day I want to play for Tonga, and it's something that it's more than just a decision on, how good the team's going, or how it's like, it never had anything to do with money or what I dreamed of as a kid. It was purely just what I felt at the time, and I still feel it now. Like I still want to play for Tonga.
Wow.
But then obviously Tonga being a tier 2 country,
It's tier 1 now, isn't it? Or
it's it's not.
Interesting.
Because boys can play for Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, Cook Islands, but still go and represent in Origin.
Yeah.
Whereas if you play for the Kiwis, if you play for England, but you qualify for Origin, you can't.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So for me, I was like, I get the best of both worlds. Even if I don't make the New South Wales squad, like the time that I'm playing for Tonga, I may as well put my eligibility for New South Wales as well, because I can qualify for
100%,
it.
why not?
Why not? And at the end of the day, I think it was at the back end of last year, that's when I made my decision, I guess, like I was obviously playing for Tonga already, but I never really made a decision on New South Wales. And I think the back end of last year, seeing the success that they had, seeing what it meant to them when they won the series, like that was like, all right, that's a bit of a moment. Like, if I can do both, why not? Just put my eligibility towards both.
I don't know if you boys actually understood the or expected that reaction, man.
Yeah.
Like you guys literally brought a country together. Not only in Tonga, but also New Zealand, also here in Australia. That is some powerful shit. Like I was shocked. I couldn't believe the reaction, and it makes total sense that you want to represent that country. Like I feel, your country. I feel like you have that sense of belonging. You have that emotional attachment to the land. But what about Cook Island as well? Because your mum's from there.
Yeah. No, I still have aspirations to play for the Cook Islands one day. I'm half Cook Island, half Tongan, so it'd be silly of me to say no.
Yeah.
And I've always told my mum that, one day, I don't know when it will be, but one day I do want to represent her,
Oh, I love that.
my grandmother, and all of my Cook Island family, because I am very, very close to my Cook Island family as well.
Any similarities between the two countries? Or completely different?
They're actually completely different. Like
Really?
when you think of Cook Islands, you think of like you're going there, like it's a holiday. It's a bit more of a holiday destination. Whereas when you go to Tonga, you're going to immerse yourself in what it is to live like in the islands, in the culture. No one really thinks of Tonga as a holiday destination. When you think of Pacific Islands and holiday destinations, you think of Fiji, Samoa, Cook Islands, like Vanuatu, Tahiti, like those kind of places when you think of it. Whereas like Tonga, like when you go back, it's eye-opening. That's one way to put it. It's eye-opening. Like you realize, especially when you have Tongan heritage, like you go back and you understand how much you have, how fortunate you are just to even live in Australia. And I think you definitely learn to appreciate the little things when you go back to Tonga and understand how they live, what they go through, what lifestyle's like over there compared to what it is over here.
100%. So you've come over to Australia when you were 9?
Yeah.
You're fortunate enough to get a scholarship at Barker College, is that right? Where's Barker College at?
Barker College is in Hornsby, so like near Epping and stuff.
That's a rugby union school, yeah?
it's a rugby union school.
Yeah. So tell me how you were juggling both rugby league and rugby union.
Yeah, so it first come about when I was at Patrician Brothers first. I started from year 7. Like my brother went there, so
Yeah.
it was no brainer for me and my other brother to go there. So we started at year 7, and they first approached me in year 9. Um, my coach for like an under 15s New South Wales rugby union team was like the forwards coach at Barker, and he approached me first. Um, and at the time, I was like, I'm happy to stay at Paddy's. Like, I love it. Like, I was afraid to go out of my comfort zone. Like, I didn't know anyone at the school. Whereas at Paddy's, I knew bloody everyone. Like, the kids that I was playing, park footy with, rugby union with, all were at Paddy's as well. So I was in a comfortable environment. And then fast forward another 2 to 3 years, year 11 come around, and I was playing GIO that year.
Yep.
And I really enjoyed it. Like I got to play with guys like Jake Arthur, Tito Taruva.
Tito, no way.
Great Teats, bro. All right. He's a clown. He's a proper clown.
Why does everyone have that reaction when I bring his name up?
God, bro. I think if you know Tito, you'd understand.
He's
like,
killing it too, but I love
like,
that. Full of energy. Like
bro, he's
you
the
could be
best.
having the hardest day, but
He is
having
the
Tito
best.
around.
Like, imagine doing this is bloody off topic, but
That's
imagine doing like a conditioning session. You're completely stuffed, and you have someone like Tito. He's the loudest bloke. He's the fittest bloke too. Like he's so fit that he has the energy to not only talk trash, but like bring the energy up, make jokes, like laugh about it, get everyone in a lighter mood. Like he just has
rare.
that.
That's rare.
Yeah, that's so rare. Like you don't have many people that can do that. But yeah, like I was obviously at Paddy's and playing GIO, and it was one of the best experiences because I was playing a couple ages up.
Yeah.
Playing against bigger boys, playing like as a kid, that's all I dreamt about was playing GIO for Paddy's one day. Seeing my brother do it, seeing all of the other older boys do it. Like when I was at school, Critter was still there, Spencer was still there. So to see them do it and see how much like success they had, how much joy it brought to the school, it was something that I always dreamt about. But then that same year, Barker come back again, and that year they actually come back through my manager Liam.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously we had to talk about it, myself, my dad, my brother, and Liam, just about not just completely saying no to it, just thinking about it, having an open mind as to some of the benefits that you can have from it. Like they understood that I could make it coming out of Paddy's. Like it wasn't about the sporting side, was what they cared about.
Yeah.
My dad was always big on not being like a drop kick in school, like actually getting something out of it, because he understands that footy's not going to last you your whole life.
It's true.
You've got to have a life after footy. So the way I had to look at it was, one, how beneficial it's going to be for my education to not only go to a school, like not only go to a private school, but at that time there were talks about me boarding, living at the school.
Wow.
From Monday to Friday, live at the school, and then obviously just coming for the weekend. So how beneficial that would have been for my education, and obviously the financial toll, because I was going on a scholarship, and it was a complete scholarship. Like the financial, I guess, relief that it had on my parents was something that I had to be like, all right, consider it. Let's not be selfish. It's not just about staying in your comfort zone and doing I guess what you feel is just natural for you. So then it took me a while. I sat on it for a couple months, and then after having a couple conversations with my dad and my brother about it, and just I guess understanding the benefits of it, I actually went to the school and spoke to some of the teachers at the school, and just had to, like, some of the teachers that I really trusted, which were like around the PE teachers and some of them, and just asking them what they think about Barker coming to me and offering me a full scholarship. And they're like honestly, if it was my son, I'd encourage you to go. You'd be silly enough, one, not to miss out on a full scholarship, to miss out on the education part of it, to miss out on I guess, the sporting development that and the sporting exposure that you're going to get from it. Because without a doubt, like, especially in rugby union, the private schools, like, you're going to get the first look because
Of
you're at a
course.
private school. Like,
Course. Yeah,
it's
for
their
sure.
main I guess their main funnel from where they're getting their talent in terms of rugby union. So you're going to get the first look. So the exposure that you're going to get going to a private school is going to be better than the exposure that you're getting just playing on the Sunday afternoon.
That's true.
So that's something that the teachers at the school spoke to me about, and they were like as much as we'd love you to stay here, like you'd be silly to pass up that opportunity, and you don't know. Like, full scholarships don't come around often. And then they were also offering boarding as well at the time. So I was like they've obviously placed an importance on it. They've seen the value of me going to that school. So I've got to, actually take it into consideration. And then we ended up making the decision and saying, yep, all right, I want to go to Barker. But one thing was I had to go there because I was only 16 when I was in year 11. They wanted me to repeat year 11.
Oh, what?
It had nothing to do with my schooling or education. They just, because that's just kind of how private school works.
Interesting.
Literally, when I repeated, all the kids were my age. So I just repeated with the kids that were my age. And not only do I get to finish with kids that are my age, they also get 2 years of rugby union out of me. And like at the time, I was like, oh, what the hell? Like, I don't want to repeat year 11.
Of course
I want to get out of school.
100%. That's a sacrifice.
Yeah. And then at the same time, I was like, no, like, if they're willing to offer me a scholarship, offer me boarding, I'm willing to stay there another year. Like, it means I get another year of school footy. Like, I just looked at it as a positive way. Like, it ended up being, it dead set was the best 2 years.
Wow.
That I could have ever done, not only for my footy, not only for education, obviously, like we spoke about before, but just even the people that I met, the networking. I would have never known any people like that just coming out of Western Sydney. Like, you move to a whole new demographic.
Yeah.
So you're going to meet a lot more, like a lot, I guess, different people. Like, let me put it to you this way. I went to Paddy's. I had a school that was completely multicultural. And this is nothing against Barker. It's just
any lebs in
plenty of lesbians.
Really?
Plenty.
Oh, really?
There was plenty.
Oh, I never knew
Right,
that.
there was heaps. And then obviously moving to Barker, I kid you not, there was 3 Islanders at the school.
Really?
And there was about 3,000 kids there. So that not only do they have nearly triple what we had at Paddy's, they also only have 3 Islanders. And
that's a shock to me. That's a shock to me.
And we were all in the same year group.
Wow.
So obviously, if we weren't there in that same year group, like, there wouldn't be that many. And it's nothing against Barker. No. It's just obviously, like, you're in Hornsby. There's not many Islanders that live in Hornsby.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was cool to be a part of that, meet new people, make connections with new people. Like, I've still got lifelong friends that I've met from there. Like, I had a kid in boarding that was from, like, that lived in China and only come over for school.
Wow.
And then I had kids from the country that I would have never met. Like, it was cool from that aspect because we were living in the boarding house.
Yeah.
I met so many new kids, got to make so many new friends, got to experience, I guess, what boarding's like, what a private school's like, and it was dead set the best 2 years.
You're, like, front of your mind, you would have thought, like, I'm going to this college to obviously improve my footy, get a good opportunity there, obviously scholarship, obviously good resources for my academics.
Yeah.
But you never thought about actually developing as a person,
no,
right?
No. I think, especially living in the boarding house, it changed my perspective on, like, I guess, people outside of Western Sydney.
Yeah.
Like, I never had any rude expectations of people, but I just didn't know what to expect.
Of course.
And living with those people, being involved with them, I guess making friendships with them, like, it completely changed my mind.
But playing league and union, right? Was it hard to adjust to both codes? So, like, you're playing league one day and then you're having to play union. So that's a big transition.
I felt like because I was doing it from a young age, I felt like it was actually pretty easy for me to transition
Wow.
because the rules are actually completely different. So obviously those are hard to adjust to. But because I was doing it from pretty much from the age of 12,
Yeah.
I was playing rugby union and rugby league.
Yeah.
So that's 6 years of doing it by the time I get to Barker. I felt like it was easy for me to adjust. And like we spoke about it before the show just quickly,
Yeah.
but like the skill sets that I learned from rugby union,
That's where I was heading next.
some of those skill sets I still use in my game now.
And what is that? Like your subtlety,
Um,
your tempo, your squareness into the line. Which is it? All of it.
Oh, bro, all of it, like the passing, the kicking. I feel like those certain aspects I built in rugby union, and then like the tempo, the subtlety in my attack. I felt like I built that at Penrith as a junior playing rugby league, and then like I try and combined it together.
Wow.
And they just bounce off each other. They benefit each other. Like the skill sets that I use from rugby union, I could use in rugby league. Vice versa, I could use the skills in rugby league to rugby union. Like I just thought, as a kid, it was the best thing for me playing both because I ended up playing. I guess I ended up building more skill sets than I would have if I just played the one game. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I know your NRL has already kicked off your career. Is there anything or any part of you that you say to yourself, well, maybe one day I'll make the switch to union? Like, do you have something there at all, or you're just committed to league?
It's actually funny you say that. Oh, bro, everyone at Dolphins.
You're not going to Saudi Arabia rugby 360.
Nah, no way. My first year in first grade. I can't remember what game it was and what interview it was, but I had a journalist ask me about if I had aspirations. Obviously, they knew I come from Barker. If I had aspirations to play rugby union one day, and I said like I'm completely focused on my rugby league career at the moment.
Yeah,
but I'll never say never to like playing rugby union, or like I'd always still be open to it. Obviously, I played both, so like it'd be stupid of me to just completely, brush rugby into the side and say I'm only going to ever play rugby league. And one thing I said, which ended up turning into like a massive article.
Of course it did.
I said, like, as a kid growing up in New Zealand, all I ever wanted to be was an All Black. And
typical media, their eyes would have been like that.
Oh,
bang, that's the headline.
And got me. I had no idea. Like I was saying it, it just come out. And like the next week later, sitting in a team meeting, and he goes, Wayne, this is Wayne. Oh, I just want to bring up something. Can you put it up on the screen? Puts it up, and it's the post. It's the post of me.
He did not do that.
Bro. He goes, it's the post of me, and all I ever wanted to be was an All Black. He goes, you know what's so funny? At that time, he didn't know how to pronounce my name properly. He was calling me Isaiya. The best.
You know Keon, right?
Oh.
So we do a video. You know how you get the playlist up and you can see the captions? Anyway, he always, I don't know why, but Keon was always on the playlist. But he always used to spell Keon, not Keaon.
Yeah.
It was Keong, like Keong.
With a G.
And bro, we just used to always piss ourselves.
The best. It's the best. When you see his captions, you just like, obviously because the clips are there, and you see the captions, you're just like reading it. You just look at it and you're like,
but you know what? We told him. We're like, he tells him all the time.
It goes along with it, bro.
Wait, it's Keaon.
Yeah.
But like
he just once he gets it in his head, he just goes along with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he put it up and he goes, Isaiya, what the F is this? And I go, like, I just put my head down, bro, and I was just like, there's no way, like, because that was the first time I saw it too.
Oh, no way.
And I go,
so, yeah, it would have been a shock.
It would have been, like, it shocked me.
We were 18 not at the time
I
was
just had turned 19. This was early on in my first season of first grade. Like, I was already like shit scared about Wade. And then he goes, what the F is this, Isaiya? And he goes, And he goes, take this as a lesson, mate. Like, understand that journalists are going to be out there to get you. Like, whether your intentions were good or not, they're going to be out there. And if you give them one line, they're going to use it against you. And from that point on, it's been a lesson, and I learned the hard way. But I'm happy that I guess Wayne brought it up in that meeting, and just spoke about how I've got to be mindful of what I say, and then after that meeting, he actually just pulled me aside and he was like, I only did that to make you aware of, I guess, the dangers of journalists, and just making sure you're aware of what to say, what not to say, and what they can do with it. He goes, whether you say the right answer or not, they can still find the way to twist it.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, I was like, okay, I completely understand where he was coming from. It was a good lesson for me, and hopefully I never ever say something like that again. But like you said before, I'd never ever close the door to rugby union.
Yeah.
I don't know when, or I don't know if I'll go back, but it's still in the back of my mind as a bit of an aspiration to, definitely go back to rugby union.
What about your relationship with Wayne? How was that?
It was, I felt like we built it as the 2 years went on.
Yeah.
With Wayne, he doesn't say much.
Yeah, no.
He doesn't say much, and when he does talk to you, like it's like gold.
I feel like for you, like you'd love a coach to give you more feedback, to talk to
Yeah.
you more. So did that annoy you a bit, or?
Oh, I wouldn't say it annoyed me. I think it just like you said, I'm the guy that just needs constant feedback, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
I just need constant feedback just to know how I'm going, know what I need to work on. And I thought, I don't know, like with Wayne, everything he does is on purpose.
Of course.
Um,
And it looks like it's not.
Yeah,
It's-
and you might not know that he does it on purpose, but I feel like everything he does is like there's a meaning behind it, and there's purpose to it.
Calculated for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So when he spoke to me, I made sure to listen to what he said. I made sure to take his feedback. And one thing that was good about Wayne when I had chats to him was he actually asked me what I thought as well. It wasn't just him telling me what I need to work on. He goes, all right, what do you think you need to work on in your game? And 1 week it'd be like, oh, my contact, or in attack I'd be, oh, just making sure I'm playing straight, something like that. And he was like, no, I agree. And then he'd be like, all right, this is what I think, which was I love that. When I had those conversations, I loved that. But with Wayne, I felt like because he knew that he wasn't, like he was only there for the 2 years, I had more of those conversations with Wolfie.
And you had that relationship with Tonga, right?
And obviously Wayne knows that I had the relationship with Tonga. Wolfie's going to take over. Like everyone knew that Wolfie was taking over after Wayne. Like there was no like secrecy about it. So like the way I thought about it was when he spoke to me, he really needed to say something to me, and he really wanted me to work on something.
Yeah.
And he kind of let like Wolfie give me the constant feedback of what I need to work on, what I need to do, what he thinks. And I thought that that's where our relationship was good with Wayne.
What about Wolfie? Are they completely different to each other, or like what's your relationship with Wolfie?
I wouldn't say completely different. Some of the things that
He looks intense.
Yeah, he is intense.
He is, yeah.
He is, but he does have like once you get to know Wolfie, like he's not angry intense. Like he's not the one to be like
Just
you
looks dull
effing
all the
this,
time.
you
Nah,
eff like
yeah.
he is very calm the way he speaks. Like he's never really like flustered or angry. I have a really good relationship with Wolfie. Obviously, he was my first, I guess, first grade coach. And I've had him ever since I started. And I think he understands me, I guess, on the same level that my dad would understand me, that my brother would understand me, and that Wayne understood me as well.
Yeah.
There's only two coaches that really understood me, I guess, really understood me that well. And I feel like the more and more I work with Wolfie, and the more like I get to like have conversations with him, the more he's understanding how I work, the more I'm understanding how he works. So for me, the biggest thing that he's done for me is give me that much confidence in myself.
Yeah.
Not only to run the team, but to play. He always tells me before the game, play what you see. Don't ever go into the game with the
Preconceived idea.
preconceived idea of what defenses are going to do, or what this guy's going to do, or preconceived idea of what plays I want to run.
That's how you get exposed, I feel.
That's exactly how you get
Yeah,
exposed. Like
you
I spoke
preempt.
about. Yeah, when you start to preempt everything
Mm.
and you start looking for things or searching for things, you're not going to get it. So that's one thing he always says to me is play with your eyes or play what you see. And that just gives me so much confidence to go out there, back myself. And like little things, like he understands that I'm my own worst critic. And he understands that I always dwell on my mistakes. And it's something that I've just struggled with just as a player, just, overcoming those mistakes. And one thing he said to me, this was our interaction after our first game last year against Australia, the Tongan camp. At Suncorp, I had maybe about 4 or 5 errors in that game. All like execution errors, skill set, like, things like that. And he could see that I was clearly upset after the game. I wasn't talking to anyone. I kind of just sat by myself on the bus, just with my head down, headphones in, and he come and sat next to me.
I love that.
He come and sat next to me and he goes, "Mate, how you feeling?" And
Oh, man, I love that.
and I go, "Oh, I'm that disappointed in myself. I feel like I've let the team down. I feel like, those mistakes have cost us the game." And as soon as I said that, he dead set put his arm around me. He goes, "Mate, I'm so confident in you that the next time we play, you're going to get those right. You've got to be aware that you're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I know you're pissed off about it. I know that you don't want them to happen, but you're going to make mistakes at some stage in your career. The next big thing for you is what you do in the week leading up to the next game and how you play in that next game." And just the confidence he gave me to be like, not only like he said to me, like it was literally the bounce of a ball, like I kicked a 40-20 and it's like the corner post is there.
Yeah.
It literally bounces 1 meter on that side. He goes, "If you go 1 meter on the other side, we're sitting here praising you
Yeah.
about how good of a kick that was." And he goes, like I put in 2 grubbers and they both went dead. And he goes, "No one was in the picture. The only people that were in the picture were our boys to score the try." He goes, "If you get that kick right, we're looking at the scoreboard differently."
Yeah.
So he goes, "I don't want you to ever take away from playing what you see." He goes, "Yes, you're not going to execute it every single time, but I don't want you to lose confidence in playing what you see." And that right from that conversation, I just had that much respect. I guess.
It's about as well like controlling what you can control. Like at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you can't control the way the ball rolls. Like
Yeah.
in some aspect you can,
Yeah.
obviously with your strike
Exactly.
and execution and stuff like that. But sometimes you're just gonna get a bounce that's just
Yeah.
pure unlucky. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Exactly.
what can you do?
And that's the I guess the point that he made. But just having him come to me straight after the game, like I did say my whole mood, my whole demeanor changed after that. Like I actually had a smile on my face, like I was enjoying, although we bloody lost and I was disappointed, I was actually enjoying company with the boys. Just, obviously the game's done, like you can't change anything about it. Like just enjoying time in Tongan camp because it's not for long. So that was that was probably one of the best interactions I've had, and that's pretty much set us up for, I guess, the year we're having now.
I love that, man. I love that. So one of the biggest questions, like what lured you to the Dolphins? Was it when a first grade opportunity or something else?
It was a little bit of everything. Obviously, I was so happy to just sit at Penrith and wait my time, com- like continue to develop my game as a junior. Because one thing at Penrith was they hold really high standards and
Yeah.
they develop you as much as possible to be able to take that next step up, whether it's SG board or jersey flag or jersey flag to cup or cup to first grade. They make sure that everyone's ready. You've been at the club, you understand that.
Yep.
And ultimately, the decision on why I left Penrith was because I had an opportunity to go be top 30. Whereas at Penrith, understandably, like I was sitting behind Nathan, Jerome, they had good young halves, Jack Cole, Nephi, who's at the Sharks at the
now.
moment.
Yeah, play with him.
So a lot of good halves in front of me, and I was still happy to stay there. If the Dolphins didn't offer me anything, I was, more than happy to stay at Penrith. But Dolphins come to me and offered a top 30. And when I had a Zoom meeting with Wayne, Terry Reader, and Peter O'Sullivan,
Yeah.
with obviously my manager in the picture, my parents. And one thing that Wayne said to me in that meeting, which not only touched me, but touched my dad as well, obviously being a father, he goes to me, Isaiah, when you come over to the Dolphins, or if you come to the Dolphins, I'll make sure that I put my arm around you, I look after you, but I also get the best out of you. And when my dad heard that, he goes, not only like, even without Wayne saying that, he'd be like, that's so cool for Wayne to, want to take you over to the Dolphins or have you at the club. Like, Wayne didn't need to say that. But for him to say that, that was ultimately what made our decision. And we're like, all right, like, it's an opportunity to go and be a first grader, live it, breathe it. Whether I play or not, that's up to me over the preseason and during the season. But just having the experience, having the opportunity to go there and be top 30, I'd be silly enough to turn it down, especially being coached by Wayne.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's been one of the, I guess, best decisions I've made for my own career.
I can see your father's perspective as well. Like, end of the day, like, you're 18, you're the youngest in the family.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
youngest in the family. You're going off to Queensland.
Yep.
Obviously, there's going to be a distance issue. I think end of the day, after hearing that conversation with Wayne, he's now putting you in his trust.
Yeah.
So now
exactly.
Wayne's going to become your fatherly figure. So obviously, not only the football development is important, but also off the field, developing as a man.
Exactly.
But that would have been a pretty big moment for you and your family.
Yeah, it was.
Why? But I was going to also say, a bit of a sliding doors moment. I'll throw this at you. If you don't go to Barker College, you stay at Patrician Brothers, is there a big chance of you actually staying with Penrith?
Very big chance.
You know what I mean? Because you don't go through that transition to another school, no friends.
Yeah.
You're not boarding with
Experience
anyone.
anything like that. Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're not in that uncomfortable environment. So you reckon that actually helped you make that move?
Definitely. I don't think I would be in the position I am now, especially at the Dolphins, if I didn't go to Barker. Let me put it that way. I feel like I still would be at Penrith.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have got the same opportunities.
Yeah.
Because when we did the Zoom meeting, they only looked, because they couldn't watch me live. It was during COVID. They only watched a highlight reel, and majority of those highlights were from the footy that I played at the rugby union school. Because I wasn't playing much league.
Wow.
They couldn't take much footage out of the league clips.
And you didn't play flag or cup at that point?
I hadn't played flag, I hadn't played cup, and I played 2 games of SG ball.
Oh, what? You didn't even get a full season?
Because of the scholarship, the way we did it with the school. I played 5 games. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I played 5 games of SG ball. And then because once it got to like round 6 for SG ball, the school season started. So rightfully so, I had to be like, all right, I've got to give back to my school. And school and Penrith were really good about, I can play from round 1 to round 5. And then once it gets to that point, I just go and focus on school footy because the school season's actually pretty long.
Does the school block you from playing club footy?
Club rugby league? They usually.
Yeah.
But for me, because we went to them and asked them, they were, I guess, respectful enough to understand that like I don't want, because we put it to them this way, like I don't want to close a door to rugby league.
Of course.
And I was still signed as a junior to Penrith. So not only do I have to fulfill, I guess, a bit of a commitment to Penrith for being a signed junior there, I still got to fulfill my commitment to them offering me a full scholarship and full boarding. It'd be silly to be like, all right, I just want to go and focus on Penrith, or I just want to go and focus on school footy.
What was Penrith's pitch to you?
Penrith was actually like, Penrith took it better than I expected them to take it. They were like, we understand your situation. We don't want any, we don't want any problems with you or your family, or with you and the school. So they were like, from rounds 1 to 5, that's fine. We'll have you for then, and then you can go and play school footy. And I literally, like, that year, I sat and watched the boys in the finals. I couldn't play because I was obviously playing school footy, but I was still around the boys. I still went to the games. But it burned me that I couldn't play any more footy. And then fast forward to the next year, that's when, so at this point, we were in talks with Dolphins, and we played round 1 against Melbourne
Yep.
at Penrith,
Mhm.
and in round 2 against Sharks.
Mhm.
And I injured myself in that Sharks game. But that Sharks game was the first game that Peter O'Sullivan could watch me live.
You're kidding.
Obviously, he'd seen some clips, but it was the first game that he watched me live. And other than that, I had nothing else other than highlights from, a handful of highlights from that 5 games that I played in SG Ball, and then the rest of them were from the rugby union season. So I genuinely believe I'm not in this position that I am today if I didn't go to Barker.
Yeah, wow.
So yeah, it's
But
pretty crazy how that's all worked out.
you've had the Zoom with Wayne, say, what, next day or 2 days later, you pretty much agreed that
Yeah.
you're going to go up there. Did Penrith want you to stay? Did they fight
Yeah.
hard to keep you as well?
Penrith definitely fought hard, but they couldn't match. Like Penrith were only offering me a development, whereas Dolphins were offering me a contract.
Yeah.
Top 30, sorry.
Yeah.
So like on Penrith's behalf, like it's it's hard for them to bloody match what
Makes sense.
what, like, even if they come close, we were still like considering staying at Penrith.
Oh,
Because obviously the family were there, the club were always so good to me, the coaching staff, my parents knew that my development at Penrith was that big over those 2 years that I was playing SG ball.
yeah.
And the club was always good to me. They were good to my family. So we were still considering that even if they come anywhere near,
You have to.
like
The Premier Club,
yeah,
the development, obviously, you're
Yeah,
getting is fucking
exactly.
unmatched.
But then at the end of the day, like turning down a top 30 contract plus getting coached by Wayne,
Yeah.
and after he said what he said, like I'd be stupid if I did turn that.
I just remembered, just mentioned Wayne. So you've been at the Dolphins for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
One moment I want to talk about was end of last year. I think it was the last regular season game you were playing. Was it against Newcastle?
Newcastle.
Must-win game to
Yep.
play finals footy. And he made the big decision to drop you. How did you
Yep.
take that, and why? What was his reasons for that?
It was definitely, I guess, one of the toughest pills to swallow.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I understood that my footy wasn't backing up wanting to stay in the team.
A tackle defense.
Both. I was making errors in games that were completely uncharacteristic, like simple ones as like dropping the ball just from catching it or kicking it out on the full.
When you think back to that time, can you sum it up why you were dropping the balls? And
I remember having it's actually a good question. I remember having this conversation to Wayne, and maybe 6 weeks before that, I started making errors at training that I wasn't making at the start of the year.
Yeah.
And I remember when I had that conversation when Wayne did drop me, I remember having a conversation to him, and it was just a completely and brutally honest conversation. And Wayne goes to me, what do you think is the reason that your form has dropped? And I go to him, to be completely honest, coach, I think I've gone into games focusing on not making errors,
yeah, wow.
that I'm making more errors, and I'm making uncharacteristic errors,
Yeah.
silly errors, like errors that I can control. And he goes, wow, that's a good way to put it, because not only are you going into the game thinking negatively already, like you're putting yourself under pressure to not make errors, then
Yeah.
you're making errors, then it's hard for you to come back from that, because he obviously knew how I struggled to deal with making errors.
Having that mindset, you're actually almost walking on eggshells. You walk
Exactly.
into a game anxious.
Yeah. And he goes, honestly, mate, like I feel like I've played a part in that. And it was good to hear that Wayne said that, because he goes, obviously I drive that I don't want you to make errors, and I'm
Yeah,
always,
he's big on that.
and he's big on errors,
Yeah.
especially silly errors. Like
Yeah.
he can take errors where,
Someone's getting jammed
Yeah,
last minute. Yeah.
exactly, like hard errors to make, and he can understand that. But like silly errors, he absolutely hates it. And he goes, I completely understand, and I feel like I have to take a little bit of ownership on, I guess, making you feel that way. But at the same time, the way he spoke to me was, I want you to learn from this and be like, how do I not ever put myself in this position again? And that was the biggest learning. Like he wasn't, yes, he was worried about me, in the meantime and what that season was doing, but he was worried about how I'm going to be long term, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years time. And that's something that I've always respected about Wayne was he was completely honest, said it exactly how it was to me. And even if it hurt, like I needed to hear it. And yeah, like it hurt me to get dropped, especially like that was a decider. That game decided whether we made the 8 or not against Newcastle, and I was burning not to be in it. But I understood my footy wasn't living up to the standards, and I trusted Wayne in what he did. And when he dropped me, like I hated it, but I had to understand that it's my own doing at the same time. But then I completely respected that he was looking at me long term and what this would do for me in terms of how I go into a preseason, how I go into the Tongan camp. I went into that Tongan camp hungrier than ever to want to play and I guess prove myself again.
Sure, man.
And then same thing when I come out of that Tongan camp, I still had the exact same feeling going into the Dolphin season because I was dropped last year. I didn't finish the season how I wanted to. Yeah, I started the season pretty good, but when it come to the crunch time where we needed to play finals, like I wasn't there. So that burned me and that made me go into the preseason a lot more determined and hungry to not only be better as a player, but not to put myself in that position again.
Since we're on the topic about your growth and like dealing with pressure and stuff like that, it's extremely hard to come into a side as an 18-year-old, especially as a halfback, and having to direct the team around the park. You know what I mean? You're talking to older guys, guys that have lived and breathed it for what, 3, 4, 6 seasons, 10 seasons as well.
Yeah.
How did you find your voice? What gave you confidence to find your voice?
I think the ultimately what gave me confidence was hearing the leaders like Jesse, Fuss, and Kenny. I remember there was a conversation, and this was just out on training. I got put into halfback in the main squad. This was during the first preseason, and the first thing they said to me was, "Be dominant with what you say. We don't care what you say. We're not going to get angry at you.
You got to be direct.
We'd rather you just be direct. Tell us what to do, where to go, what we need, what you want." And right from that conversation, I felt sweet telling them, get to this point or do this, do that, because I had them come to me and have that conversation about me just being comfortable about having a voice and being a bit more dominant.
Have you always had a voice as well growing up?
I've always had a bit of a voice.
Always been vocal?
Obviously, it comes with the position that I play.
Of course.
In rugby union, I played 10, so I've got to be vocal. In rugby league, I was always playing halfback or 5'8", so I've got to be able to talk. But what helped me was I was captain in a lot of those junior footy teams, so I knew I guess I had a bit of a role in terms of like leadership, and not only I understood from a young age, and my dad taught me this, that leadership isn't what you say, leadership is the actions that you do. The best leaders are the ones that back up what they say,
exactly,
and that show through example, show through their actions. And I was happy that my dad taught me that as a kid, because I felt like I carried that throughout my junior footy career. I still carry that with me now. Like I'll never tell someone to do something if I'm not capable of doing that myself, or if I haven't tried to do that or put in effort to do that. Like I'd never ask someone else to do that.
It's important you said that, because everyone thinks that, to be a leader, you need to be a good talker.
No.
Like 9 times out of 10, you always go towards the vocal side of things. But I remember a few players like you said, just lead by the actions. Fish, perfect example.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Fish doesn't say anything.
You know what I mean?
Non-verbal.
No, but again with Fish, like when he does speak, fuck man, he's just got like this aura about him, because like
100%.
like he doesn't waste words.
Yeah.
And that was one thing I always loved about Fish, even from a young age. Like he'd come into the side and it just always just led by example. And obviously being a front rower.
I guess that's a bit of their job.
I just hated the guys, like you said. I hated the guys that used to always come into the huddle.
There's nothing worse. Yeah.
And then they won't even back up what they're talking about.
That's
and we used to take the piss out of them.
Yeah, 100%. No one has respect for them. No one enjoys playing with them. Like, it's funny.
Oh, that's funny. We spoke about you improving, and you said that was a very big moment in your career when Wayne dropped you.
Yeah.
You said that you used to go into the game not wanting to make errors.
Mm.
How have you changed that now? What's your mindset going into a game?
My mindset this year has been to attack everything, defense, whether it's in defense or attack. Just keep going after the game, and it's something that I remember speaking to Wolfie over the preseason about, like this exact conversation about how Wayne dropped me, um, what he thought I needed to work on, and he said from a mental point of view,
Yeah.
he goes, I want you to go into games thinking about how can you just keep going after the game. Whether you make a mistake or whether you make the biggest play, don't sit there and congratulate yourself or don't sit there and dwell on it. Keep attacking the game, keep going after it because you don't know what can happen. You don't know what could happen. And right from that conversation, it kind of flipped my whole mindset to being like really positive the way I just approach games.
Yeah.
Um,
A good example is 2023 grand final with Nath.
yeah,
Like, mate,
100%.
no one predicted that
No,
at all.
no
Especially
one.
imagine going into the sheds at halftime and you're down by that much,
Right,
and then he just took the game by the neck in the last 20.
exactly.
Perfect example.
And it's funny. We actually spoke about that exact, like that last 20
Really?
minutes on, and just how he attacked the game, how he put his hands up to be like, all right, I want to lead this.
Can you share that conversation, or was that a private conversation?
Which one?
The one about talking about that period in the game when you had that discussion with Nath. Or is this with Wolfie?
No, this was with Wolfie.
Yeah.
This was with Wolfie. He just spoke about like because he always refers back to Nathan because obviously Nathan's the best
He's
seven
the
in the
premier
game.
halfback. Yeah.
And not only does his stats talk it up, his stats back it up, his footy backs it up. And Wolfie's always had so much respect for him. But when he looks at my game, he always compares it to the guys like Nathan Cleary or guys like Tom Dearden. And one thing he said about Nath was, whenever the game's in the balance, Nathan always wants his hands on the ball. He's always involved. Whether he gets the decisions right, it doesn't matter. But the fact that he's in the game and that he wants the ball, that he's hungry for it, that he's chasing the moments, chasing those big moments, that's what the best players in the games do. And he said it to me like it was brutal. He said it to me that when the game's in the balance, for like when obviously over the last 2 years, he goes, I tend to go into a shell. I tend to sit back. I tend to relax a little bit. And it's something that I knew I was doing, and I just never knew how to get out of it. I never knew what to do, how to think, and then obviously when we had that conversation about Nathan and how he attacked that game, it wasn't only that game he referred to. It was a game last year when we played them at Penrith. It was his first game back, and he kicked
came to that game.
He kicked the field goal right in front of my face.
Oh,
but
wow.
he goes to me at the start of the game, you dominated the first half.
Yeah, you did. I remember.
And he goes, when you went into the second half, you look like you took a backward step. You look
conservative.
You look like you started to go conservative. And he said Nathan did the complete opposite.
Yeah.
He started to go after the game and ultimately won the game. He chased the moments. He kicked the field goal. He was on the ball all the time. And that was another game that we just referred to on how I can just keep attacking the game even after I have a good moment or I have a shit moment. How I can just keep attacking the game until the game's done. And that's that was one of the best conversations that we had, me and Wolfie, just over the preseason, and just I guess set me up to mentally change my mindset going into games.
And what players have you looked up to growing up?
A lot of them have been halves.
Who in particular?
Nath is probably the biggest one. When I was younger, Benji, just with his footwork, the flair that he plays with, and like even now, I still look up to a lot of the guys that I play against. Guys like Jerome Hughes, Tom Dearden, like I mentioned before, like, bro, he's that tough.
Tough for his size.
And just competes on everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy how good he is. Jerome Hughes' running game. One thing that I feel like just isn't talked about enough is Adam Reynolds', I guess, subtleties in the way he attacks, the way he manipulates defenders. One thing I always respected about and kind of and tried to implement into my game was the fact that when Adam Reynolds would go to show the ball,
You pretend to kick.
he pretends to kick. He's going to play like he's going to throw a pass or going to play shape. And then when he looks to go to pass, he'll look and then just drop it on his foot. Just like those little subtleties on trying to manipulate defenders and manipulate teams. There's something I've always respected about him.
I like that.
But I'm always watching halves and what they're doing and trying to take a little bit out of their book and I guess implement it into mine.
All right, then. All right. Since we're here, who's on your Mount Rushmore of halfbacks?
Oh,
No disrespect to anyone,
No,
but this
no,
is your Mount
no
Rushmore.
disrespect. No disrespect. I'm going.
So you got 4.
I've got Joey Johns is up there.
Yep.
I didn't get to watch much of Joey Johns. Obviously I was too young, but I have watched clips. I have watched video of just how good he was. So Joey Johns would be on there. Cooper Cronk.
Yeah.
Cooper Cronk's definitely up there. Whether you'd classify JT as a 6 or 7,
You can.
I'd say JT is up there.
He
not
just
up
always
there.
has so much time. Bro.
Oh man,
Always.
bro,
That's one thing you guys love. Time.
time exactly, and he just made it look like he had more time than
Yeah.
everyone else in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cooper Cronk, Joey Johns,
JT.
JT, and then I'd have to put Nathan Cleary. He's on my Mount Rushmore because of what he's achieved in the game. Like I get he's a current player right now,
And that's what there's nothing wrong with that.
but honestly, if he was to end his career right now and retire, he'd still go up in conversations of the best halfback ever to play the game. The way he played, the way his resume backs it up as well.
100%.
That's probably my 4. He'd be on there.
What's your favorite matchup? Who do you love matching up against? Testing yourself.
Him.
Yeah.
Because I've always looked up to him. I see it as a challenge, and I'm one not to step away from the challenge.
We're talking about being direct as well. Love that.
Like the game that we played against him at the start of the year.
Yeah.
I just I couldn't wait for it because of what happened last year, because of how he got one over me last year, and I have that much respect for him, but at the same time, I still wanted to beat him. I still wanted to get one back at him, and I was happy with how I played that game. I still believed I didn't play as good as I wanted to, but at the end of the day, we won the game. So I was happy that we just got that one back up against him.
Pumped them, bro. Far out.
So
Unbelievable win that one.
he's probably him and Jerome Hughes. They're the 2 matchups that I always look forward to, because I have so much respect for Jerome Hughes as well. The way he played last year, obviously Dalian backs it up.
Yeah.
But even just I've spoken to him off the field a couple times, and he just seems like a genuine bloke. So I have that much respect for him. But just because of how good he is, I always look forward to playing against him and Nathan. So
I've seen the boys this week, and actually I'm going to the Panthers Tigers game. It's Old Boys Day. Shit, am I saying?
Oh my god,
I'm there, brother. I'm
Bruh,
there. But it feels
Old
like,
Boys Day.
bro, it feels like yesterday,
Right.
like running out, and like you have obviously the guard of honor by all the past players, and
Past
you're just
players.
running out on the field, and I'm now one of those guys.
Now you're standing in the guard of honor.
Yeah.
Hurts.
Before we wrap up, brother, I have to say, what are your goals for yourself, long term?
Long term, definitely to take the team to the finals.
Yep.
I understand my impact in the game, and I understand that it takes a whole team effort. But I understand that I still have a bit of an impact in terms of where we finish, how we play as a team, being the halfback. Lately, I've been given the captaincy, but that's only because Fuss and Gilbert are out at the moment. But I've loved that role, and I understand that comes with a bit of pressure. But I love that. I love the challenge. I love being able to take those, I guess, responsibilities and
Pressure's a privilege.
and pressure's a privilege, like you said, bro. Pressure is a privilege. So for me, I love that. So definitely to take Dolphins to the finals this year. Um, I still want to. One goal for me is to be the best halfback in the game, and I get that's bloody ambitious. I get that that's
You're not in the wrong. You're not in the right industry if you don't think like that. But
exactly 100%. Like you're probably giving up on yourself if you don't think like that.
100%.
Um, and I know that that's going to be one of the hardest things that I'll ever do, but I understand that I can control that.
Mm.
So when I know that I can control something,
Mm.
I will always challenge myself to be better. I'll always challenge myself to ultimately be the best halfback in the game, and that's something that Wolfie's challenged me to do. Um, and I love that he's challenged me, but he's also put in a lot of confidence to me to be like, you have the potential to do that. The way you work away from footy puts you on the right path. So
No transfer.
the only thing that's holding you back is yourself. So yeah, that's definitely a goal. And then ultimately, to win a premiership one day with the Dolphins, that's one thing I've. You just have to have that in the back of your mind.
100%. It has to be
Um,
one of your top goals.
it's definitely up there. And then another big one that I find is a little bit harder than the Dolphins one is to win like a World Cup with Tonga. I believe that that's going to be harder because like with the Dolphins team,
Do you believe it's going to happen?
I genuinely believe that we are definitely on the right path of that happening. The amount of talent that we have, the hunger and drive that we have when I'm in camp, it's taken us a couple camps to get things right.
Yep.
Especially the balance of footy and off-field stuff, getting that balance right because it always falls at the end of the season. So a lot of the boys have switched their brains off, switched their minds off from footy completely.
Of course, man.
So to get them to get back up to play, like those are some high pressure games, international representing your country, playing against Samoa, Tonga,
There's more
Samoa.
emotion, man. There's more emotion involved.
Exactly. Samoa, England, Australia, and the Kiwis. There's going to be a lot of pressure in that. So to get the boys up after already fatiguing and stressful season, it's hard. But I feel like, especially last year's camp, we definitely got that balance right to be like, all right, when we train, let's bloody switch on. Let's really dive into it, get the best out of it. And then when we have our downtime, enjoy each other's company, be bloody clowns, do whatever, muck around, have fun, but still remember that we're here for a job. We're not here on a holiday. We're not here to just enjoy each other's company and just come and take the piss out of it. Let's really buy into it and do the biggest way that we can do our nation proud is by winning. And that's how we can show that we care about our nation, we care about our family, we care about our supporters. So I thought we got that balance right last year, but now we're getting a lot more, especially kids around my age that are wanting to represent Tonga rather than New Zealand or rather than Australia. They're wanting to come and sacrifice. A lot of them have been given the opportunity to go to Australia and New Zealand, but they're now toning it down because they're seeing how much it means to us. They're seeing, I guess I got to give credit to Jason, Andrew, guys like Siwa, Aden, Fuss, Fafita. Those guys are the ones that set the tone, that change that whole movement of, you know what, we don't care about the money. We want to go and represent our parents, our families, and our little country and give back to them because of, how much they mean to us, how much they support us, whether we win or lose. Like they genuinely don't care about the result. But they changed that whole movement, and you can see the legacy that they've built now. Kids are wanting to grow up and play for Tonga. Kids are wanting to grow up and play for Samoa or Fiji or the Cook Islands. Like that's the way that the game's moving now, and it's only going to benefit the international game and make our game better.
Brother, I love that. And I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, bro. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you're doing. I wish you nothing but the best, brother. And enjoy the rest of your time in Sydney, my man. Best of luck for the rest of the season.
I genuinely appreciate it. Thanks, brother.
Yeah. Killed it, brother.